Oh, yeah. So today we're just talking about, to try to make it simple and short, we're talking about betting. Betting and some incentives. Welcome to the news. Stay to the end to find out how to get there. Yeah, incentives. So we're just talking about the betting industry, the sports betting industry, the life betting industry, I guess you could say also, where it's new marketplaces. It's the incentives betting aspect where there's like you get some money to sign up. I mean, that's kind of it. I mean, we're going to keep it simple today. Because in essence, you get a little bit of free incentives for just signing up for different services, such as Polymarket, such as DraftKings. For example, you get like $200 after spending $5. So it's free credits. It's not like you actually get to keep the money. You can cash out with the money, but you have to bet the money. And then if you get money off of the back end of those bets, then you can keep the money that comes from the back end of those bets. So it's kind of like if you can win money through just betting on some sports in the incentives betting space, which has to do with certain derivatives of life betting, certain goals focusing, and to see and make predictions based on energy flow, then you can keep the rewards. You can keep the rewards if you use their money, their cheese to make a bet, to place a bet. The incentives still work in your favor if you're able to profit, in essence, and you do take profit, then you get to keep the profit from how it seems. So these different betting spaces have free incentives, meaning free money in essence for participating and signing up. It's like their cost of acquisition to acquire a new customer. So they're just sort of passing it on to you, similar to getting a free incentivization for opening a new bank account, offering $200 to open a new bank account as part of the cost to acquire a new customer, so to speak. So in essence, that marketing budget sometimes gets passed on to the customer themselves for opening a new bank account, for example. So we're talking about the sports betting industry. Basically, like Coinbase has a $500,000 sports betting incentive pool that people are supposed to share in if they continue to participate in the sports betting industry, because that's hot right now. It's been growing because it's also like a marketplace that has to do with making bets on peculiar items that have to do with the potential for things outside of sports betting as well. It's like betting on aspects of life, energy flow, and incentives to participate in that, because it's a trending situation for people to spend money, and it's like a casino. It's like a new casino where people get there is just money flowing. So right now they're just offering to participate free money in the betting pools. The sports betting, DraftKings is an example, but if you Google what are the incentives betting incentives that are available to people for just participating somewhat, there are lists that are out there. It's kind of like a prop firm challenge, but just in sports betting, obviously, so it's simplified quite a bit. And the last part of this podcast, we're just going to talk about being a business scout, being like a venture capital scout for Pace Morby, in essence. Like a scout in venture capital corresponds to developing a process for finding companies and brands, like specifically a niche to bring to venture capitalists, for example. So we're trying to do that for Pace Morby, starting to try to become a venture capitalist scout for Pace Morby and his connection to his real estate brand, in essence, to build our own scout portfolio, if possible, ideally, in an ideal sense, to try to work in the direction of the silver tsunami. The silver tsunami, yeah. And that just kind of brings us full circle to also developing like a fashion brand, basically like a fashion brand, similar to Supreme, similar to Palace, those brands, but in essence, like as Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios, as we try to layer out some more sound into the sound market, which we have not done in the past. This is the podcast market, this is the speaking market, this market where this podcast lives, but the sound market, there's not a lot out there for Dinky T and C for G, which is the music arm brand, coming, I hope soon, to the music market. And then connecting that with, ideally, different companies around the world, every single country to make like fashion similar to Supreme. How Supreme made fashion, for example, which is like, for example, if we were to make a t-shirt out of every single podcast episode that we've had, we can do that with the art, for example. And that's the type of thing we're trying to do with developing art for collaborations and then making unique products like shoes, for example, for every collaboration that we can try to connect with different companies around the world, around the globe, similar to Supreme, similar to Palace. Palace is a skateboard company that connected with AMG from Mercedes, for example, and they made a collaboration in collaborative products, and we're trying to get that going so we can develop fashion as well as new products, as well as like NFTs, for example, and an NFT blog off the back end of this podcast, and to try to do more of these sequences so that we have the ability to have more intellectual property that has the value and the potential to scale, I hope, like an NFT blog as we continue to scale and try to be a scout in the venture capital world. sort of, but it's also in a variety like the real estate world, because Pace Morby is in large and part of the real estate world. So we're trying to open the vessel for the venture capital element of the Pace Morby community, which is largely a real estate community, in essence, to try to facilitate a little bit more of the silver tsunami situation and energy that's unfolding in terms of large amounts of businesses passing and changing hands from the older generation to the younger and newer generations. A few $1 trillion, $10 trillion plus in the next 10 to 12 years or more. And that's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios, working towards the global philanthropy energy grid among all human beings and the global good deeds economy among all human beings, to try to live a little bit more harmoniously among all human beings in the world, to be able to connect connectively among harmoniously us all as human beings with business, music, items. Yeah. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye. And let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's push for world peace every single day. And also, let's remember to try to clear the animal shelters. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world, because we can foster all the shelter animals. We can adopt all the shelter animals in the world. We can rescue all the shelter animals in the world. And we can also hire the shelter animals as healers. We can also hire the shelter animals as healers all throughout the world, so that they don't have to be mistreated in animal shelters, and we can clear the animal shelters, and we can hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities. Hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities, because they also work for free, and they could use better purpose and use better jobs and be able to add value and be therapeutic energy for humans and humanity, to help us be more harmonious as humans and among humanity for all the animals in the world, to clear all the animal shelters, to try to get them to transition their energy in terms of therapeutic energy to all humans, so we can clear the animal shelters to add value to humanity in terms of harmony if possible. And let's push for world peace every single day and clear the animal shelters every day. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.